Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the foam rolling exercise video demo checklist. So you're going to be tempted to skip this because you're like, hey, this isn't burning fat or building muscle, but this is going to prevent injuries, inshallah, and help you to actually build muscle and lose fat a lot more efficiently and have a way higher quality of life, way more energy levels, way less stiffness, all that other stuff that is extremely beneficial to your journey. So the first thing that I like to do is actually like to start with the upper back opener. Now you'll notice I don't actually go on my lower back. Okay, I go on my upper back. I start with my hands behind my head. When that starts to open up and become less painful, which by the way, the first time that you do is going to be super painful, I hug myself across my body, bring my elbows more forward to stretch it and expose the muscle fibers to be reached more deeply. You can also lean to the sides. You can move your head side to side. You can put your hands behind your head again. Just go by feel. The cool thing with foam rolling is it's really about feeling into the muscle and giving yourself a nice massage. Okay, and you can also go get deep tissue massage on a regular basis, but this is a great way to do it for yourself every single day, multiple times a day for free or however much time you have. Now, the first time you do all this foam rolling stuff, and you can also adjust midway, just like I just did right there. The thing with this foam rolling stuff is you could spend hours and hours on it, but there's a high chance you don't have hours and hours, so you're just going to have to spend as much time as you can afford to spend on it, but don't go crazy with it. Now, once you've done that preliminary rolling, you're going to park your butt on the ground. Do not let your buttocks leave the ground. Keep your glutes on the ground, your butt on the ground, and you're going to bring your head back, hands back. Now, what is this doing? It's stretching my ribs, and it's helping me to realign my spine. When we sit on the computer and the phone all day, our spine becomes in this chronic forward position, our ribs become tight, so we go back and forth 10 times and side to side 10 times. My elbows are going side to side, I'm bending at the sides, stretching the sides of my ribs, okay? Then twisting 10 times, okay? You see I got hijama on that tricep. I get hijama often as well, highly recommended, but this is a great way to get a lot of the same benefits for free as massage and cupping and all that stuff. So side to side twisting. I like to do 10 of each, but again, you just do whatever feels best to you within the time you have. And if you're concerned that you're going to take too much time foam rolling, then you could also, of course, set a timer so you don't overdo it, okay? Now, it might look like I'm on my lower back, but I'm at the lowest point on my upper back. But you don't really want to go on your lower back, okay? Because it is potentially dangerous, especially if you're injury prone to do this on your lower back, so keep it on your upper back. Now, I'm just going to show you an alternate angle. So again, elbows coming forward to give me a little bit deeper stretch. You could also go hands behind your head, whatever is comfortable for you, okay? And then I believe I'm going to demonstrate the other exercise again. So again, I'm going by feel, opening up the back, especially if you're stiff, especially if you spend a lot of time on the computer. I'm going to adjust my position here so you can see me a little better. Okay, hands behind the head, and my butt is staying on the ground. Okay, and I'm bringing my head back. Try to even bring your head to the ground if you can. You might want to go a little slower the first few times you do it. Like obviously at this point I can do it pretty fast like this. But if I'm really stiff, I'll go slower. And especially if you're just starting or you're stiff or this hurts a lot, don't push yourself to like a point of crazy pain. Like if you're really stiff and this hurts like a crazy amount, don't force yourself to do it per se. Get a softer foam roller if available, or even put a mat on top of the foam roller. But if you can handle it like this and it doesn't feel like it's injuring you, then try it. It's going to totally change your life. You're going to feel taller when you stand up from this, inshallah, if your posture is really bad when you first do it, and it is going to open you up significantly. Now, once we've done the upper back opener, the next exercise is going to be the chest and back. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into your chest, under your armpit, and you're going to find the tight spot in your chest. Okay, so you can see I'm rolling back and forth to find the tight spot in my chest. Once I find the tight spot in my chest, I'm going to roll to the back, because usually wherever the back is, wherever the chest is tight, if I roll to my back in the exact same spot, it's usually also going to be tight there. Sometimes even tighter. So your chest and the side of your back, your lat muscle, in case you want to look up what that is, your chest muscle and your lat muscle are both going to be tight. Now you can also move your head around a little bit, but again, you want to plant your hand on the ground. So you see how my pinky is staying on the ground and I'm rotating palm flat to palm open facing the sky, and I'm kind of like pivoting on my pinky to keep myself in the same spot. I'm not moving around my hand, otherwise that takes away from the stretch. Now you can even go into your ribs, and there's a muscle you can access here called the serratus, which is really painful. This one's like crazy painful, but it makes a huge difference as far as opening you up. As you can see, we're about 4 minutes in, so sometimes on like an upper body day, if you only have 5 minutes, you don't have time to do your legs, just doing, the upper back, the chest and back, the serratus. You can even skip the serratus. I'll be honest, I often do, although it is still beneficial. I should probably do it more often. Will really open you up a lot. Now, here's the thing though. Sometimes we have people who will literally be in the program for like a really, really long time and never do this and be like, oh, sorry, I injured myself. I wasn't doing, the foam rolling, or I got really stiff. Any solutions? It's like, yeah, don't skip the foam rolling at the beginning. So do not skip this, please. I probably should have said at the beginning. But anyways, chest and back, chest and back, chest and back, just showing you another angle. As you can see, my hand, I made the mistake I just told you not to do, which is moving my hand. Your hand should pivot on the pinky. Now, another thing you can do is you can actually pull your arm across your body, and you can even get into your rear delt, your shoulder muscles. So you can see I'm rolling into my shoulder muscles off from the armpit, and I'm even doing a little bit of shoulder rotation. This is a little more advanced. You don't have to do this, but if you try it and it feels good to you and you feel it opening up, it's very helpful, okay? So again, I'm just kind of showing you how you can hunt around and play around You know, foam rolling, obviously these are the initial techniques. The whole principle is you're pinning down the tight area and then taking the muscle through a range of motion. A lot of people just roll on it and they're like, oh yeah, I foam roll. Yeah, I do the foam rolls. No, no, no. The correct technique is you pin down the muscle and you take it through a full range of motion. Now, another one you can do is you can get onto your chest just like this. Very, very helpful, okay? And you roll over your entire chest. You can even roll to your stomach and roll out your abs. Now that's really painful and your abs will often be really tight because they're also chronically shortened when we spend so much time sitting. But as you can see, the principle is I'm pinning down the muscle that's tight or sore. I'm stretching it through a full range of motion. So again, that's the upper body ones. Next up, there's a lot of really, really good ones for lower body. So you'll see that for lower body, a lot of the technique is the same. And this is the general principle that you're gonna hunt around for the tight spot by rolling around on the muscle, okay? And then wherever you find the tight spot, you're gonna take the associated joint through a full range of motion. Now, this one could be hard on the shoulders and wrists, so if you need to, you can also like put something under your butt or behind your back, like a bench or a block, to give you a little bit more leverage without putting so much stress on the shoulders, elbows, wrist, whatever might be an issue for you. But if you're able to do this, then this is great. From there, if you wanna make it a little more intense, you can also cross one leg over the other to put more focused weight and control and intensity on one side. But as you can see, once I pin down the tight spot in my calf, I'm gonna roll back and forth with the ankle, side to side with the ankle, and then a little bit of circles with the ankle. You can also twist, you know, the whole thing. This is all very, very helpful. So again, all motions, you kind of just feel through motions to see what you feel gives you the biggest stretch while pinning down the tight area. Again, just rolling over it can be helpful. Like I sometimes do that for like the Achilles tendon just to kind of get in there, get some blood flow, but really releases the muscle and gives you a lasting benefit instead of just feeling good and getting some blood flow is pinning it down and stretching it through a full range of motion. Now, I'm gonna show you an alternate angle while working my other ankle, no pun intended. And so essentially what you do is you roll over, find the tight spots, and then you're gonna take it through as best of a full range of motion as you can, forward and back, side to side, you know, even doing both at the same time, doing circles, etc., etc. Just go through the different range of motion, twisting, and see what gives you the best feeling of a stretch. And you guys, you can see in my face, sometimes these things hurt quite a bit, so it's normal. You know, it shouldn't feel like it's about to snap or anything, that's too much, but it should feel kind of like when you floss your teeth, right? Especially if you forgot to floss for a little bit and you floss the first time, it hurts, but it kind of hurts good and it feels productive. It's not like overwhelming, otherwise you go see the dentist, right? So likewise with foam rolling, if it hurts just a little bit, but in a way that kind of feels good, like a massage, and it's good. If it hurts too much, take the pressure off. And if it like hurts crazy bad one area, you might want to go see a doctor for that. But usually, I mean, I've maybe over working with like over 1,000 clients, alhamdulillah, over the last 8+ years, maybe had one or two people who needed to go to the doctor, and even then I can't even remember who they were, so it may not have even happened, but I'm pretty sure at some point it was like unrelated. Maybe they were doing a workout on their own or something, but alhamdulillah, we've never had anybody get injured under my watch. But anyways, and under our watch with the online program technique reviews and all that. But anyways, all right, so now we're gonna go into the tibialis. This is the muscle in the front of the shins. A lot of people don't even realize you have a muscle here, and some of you in your programs, especially if you have knee issues, will see that I might have put in some tibialis exercises for you. So for the tibialis, you kind of do this cute little dog pedal thing while you've got it pinned down in the tibialis. You can also kind of roll over it a couple times, and this is helpful too. And this will feel really good. This is great for shin splints, especially if you used to run a lot or if you currently run a lot. This is gonna be a game changer for you. So I kind of just roll over them, okay, get some blood flow, and then once I find a spot that feels productive, I'll pin it down and then take it through a full range of motion. So I think the angle I'm gonna show now from is the back, so you can kind of see my ankles and what movements I do with my ankles to get the best release in my tibialis muscle. So again, forward and back, kind of just paddling between both. You usually don't have to put one leg over the other because even this amount of pressure is enough. I'll sometimes do circles too. But I think I also demonstrate in this video where I put one leg over the other. Yep, there it is. So if you need more pressure because you're just crazy like that, or you have a high pain tolerance, or maybe your tibialis isn't that tight, you can cross over like that and do the range of motion. But for me, that's a little too intense. So for me personally, with how tight my tibialises are and what my pain tolerance is I do both at the same time. It's also a little more time efficient. But again, it depends how much time you have, and it depends on how bad it is. Like if you have severe knee issues, you should definitely take your time with this. Like, why are you trying to risk yourself not warming up properly, right? You should always warm up properly, especially if you have injuries, or if you're injury prone, or if you're really stiff, whatever it may be. Now, one cool little trick I like to do is once I finish the tibialis, I smoothly transition into my quads. Okay, I used to be scared to do that because I was afraid it might be bad for the knee, and obviously if you have bad knees or you're really heavy, you may want to be careful with that. But essentially now we're doing the quads. So I roll over them, get some blood flow. That's probably a technique you've done before. And eventually what we want to work up to is doing full-on hamstring curls, okay? But if the full-on hamstring curl is a little too intense for you, and you can do them alternating, you can do all on one side at once, totally up to you. But if that's too intense, what you can do is you can just do ankle back and forth like what you did with the calves, okay? And I'm not sure if I demonstrate that in this video, but eventually you want to get to the point where you're doing the hamstring curl. And then you can lean into one side at a time, and you can even get your outer quad, get some more specific intensity in that one area. As you can see, my face shows the increased intensity. You can even lift your leg up if you need that much more intensity, but you can see in my face, I can barely handle that myself. So, you know, maybe your quads aren't as bad as mine. I mean, I have been squatting for like, you know, over 10 years, almost 15. So alhamdulillah. Now, next up, I'm in my hip, okay? So this is not the quad. This is literally the crease of my hip. The hip flexor gets really tight from sitting, and I'm not just going back and forth. I'm actually doing a twisting motion with my hip. So you see that my hip stays stationary. I'm not twisting like that, my whole hips. No, I'm pinning down. I'm staying in one spot. Although the twisting of the whole hips is productive in a different way, but for the purposes of just isolating the hip, you see I'm not pivoting my whole hips. Everything is staying stationary except for that one leg. Nothing else is moving, okay? That's how you really isolate and twist the hip, which is really gonna help you get deep in there. And then you could also do a little bit of like quad extension there too. But anyways, all right, and then I think I'm gonna show that now from the other angle, same thing. So first, oh yeah, there's the twisting. So you can see my whole hip is not pivoting. It's only that one hip. It's only the hip on the side that I'm pressing into, not my entire hip. See, that's the wrong way to do it, where you pivot your whole hips. Again, that could have its own benefits, but for the purposes of opening the hip up the hip flexor maximally, you want to keep, you know, your hips in one place and only rotate that one singular leg, okay? And if you're not sure if you're doing it right, you can send a technique review either to Coach Yusuf for the men or Coach Jamila for the women, or whoever is your designated technique review coach at the time that you join the program. Now, the next one is the glutes. So you're going to basically sit on it and roll into your butt, find the tight spot in your butt, and then what you could do is you could do the bottle opener where you have your ankle over the knee, which is the first one I showed, and then you're kind of just pulling your knee towards you. You can also do extensions forward and back, inside and out. You can do a lot of different movements. So again, just to demonstrate those, roll over your entire buttocks, determine which spots inside of your buttocks are tight, okay, your buttocks, your butt, your glutes, right? This muscle is called the glute, the muscle of the buttocks, right? And then once you have identified where in your glute you're tight, which is usually going to be a bottom spot, a top spot, and possibly a medium spot, you can address all of them depending on how much time you have. So again, this is the bottle opener technique. You just cross your leg over, and you pull your knee towards you. You can also do the extension and contraction technique. You generally want to go a bit slower. I kind of like breeze through this fast because I've been doing this for a long time, but the first time you do it, you might want to go really slow and just savor every part of the movement. You can also do those hip rotations, up and downs, whatever you want to do, okay? You can even do a bicycle. There's a lot of different movements you can do here. And of course, if you have a good massage therapist, they can do this for you. Or if you want to have your spouse, you know, dig their elbow in there, they can. But this is a great way to do this for yourself, so you don't have to worry about relying on somebody else to do it for you. Again, I usually prefer to work out solo. So as you can see, even working out solo, you can open this up. Now, the next one is the adductors. This one, you may not want somebody else to touch you there, but it's basically your inner thighs, okay? Now, this, you know, you might feel embarrassed doing this at gym. I've been doing this in public gyms for a while, but especially if you're a sister, you definitely want to do this in privacy, right? In fact, you might want to do your whole workout in privacy. Most of our sister clients, you know, they train at home. But essentially, you want to roll into it, and you can do rotations. You find the tightest spot. It's going to hurt quite a bit, so you want to use your hands to take pressure off of it, and then you're going to do leg extensions, okay? So just to show you again, I have the bottom leg parallel. The leg that I'm trying to work on, I'm basically putting it at a 90-degree angle, almost like I'm spooning the roller, as some people describe it. Okay, I roll into my inner thigh, I identify what are the tight spots inside of my inner thigh, and my knee is, you know, up. Okay, and then I go bend the leg, straighten the leg, bend the leg, straighten the leg. I can do some rotations too to help me get tighter spots or just open it up further. But essentially, I'm trying to get all those inner thigh muscles, the adductors, the VMO, all those inner thigh muscles that get super tight. Okay. Now, next up, let's see, what am I going to do next? What's the next foam roll technique? Ooh, the IT bands. Oh man, this one is super painful, but very effective for runners. So you don't want to just roll directly into the side of your leg. You want to be slightly in the front of your leg, okay? The anatomy of the IT band is that it gets stuck to the quad, which it sits on top of, in the front and in the back. So we're going to do first in the front like that, same thing, just bend and straighten the leg, okay? There's the IT band once again. And then, so that's to get the front of the IT band with the roller. To get the back of the IT band, you're going to need either one of these myofascial release balls, which you can get online pretty easily, and that's how you get the back. Or you could literally just use a softball or a tennis ball. Lacrosse ball is a little too small and difficult, but tennis ball could work, and it's, you know, you don't need much pressure for this. It hurts quite a bit. And so you can see I'm getting into the back of that IT band. You can also get into the glute deeper here, and you can also get into the piriformis, which is a muscle kind of inside your glute, which causes a lot of sciatica, sciatic pain, you know, nerve pain in there, all that stuff, because when the muscle of the piriformis gets tight from excessive sitting, which we all do in today's day and age, in the modern day and age, you end up having it pinch the sciatic nerve and causing issues. So this can be very helpful, but sometimes you need to start with the foam roller because the ball could be way too intense. I mean, this thing hurts like crazy. And you can use smaller balls too for the piriformis to get deeper in there, but I like the bigger one. You can also get into the calf and the back of the knee with this. There's a muscle behind the knee called the popliteus, which is responsible for a lot of cases of knee pain. And so what you can do is you can actually get into the popliteus, okay, roll into it. It hurts like crazy. Well, I mean, obviously don't go, it should feel like a good flossing pain, not like a terrible pain. You can get to the hamstrings this way, and you can do all the same techniques, pin and stretch through a full range of motion. You can also get into the chest, even into the back. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff you can do with this, and you can even stretch your neck. And I'll show you another neck one. Right? Yep. See, if you get really deep in your chest like that, and you can even stretch your chest by walking your hand the other way like a little crab, and then stretching your neck from there. I mean, you'll get a lot of neck involvement here if you're putting this much pressure on your chest. Rather pinpointed pressure. I'm only putting my body weight on it, but this thing just pinpoints in there so much, whether it's a softball, lacrosse ball, a tennis ball, whatever it is, you're going to feel a lot. You can literally roll all over your chest. Again, these are more advanced techniques. I don't do this every single time I work out. Like on my average workout, I'll just do the chest and back and upper back, and then boom, I'm right into it. But if it's like a leg workout, I'll definitely roll out my hips, my quads, my glutes, my calves. Okay, so it just depends how much time you have and how severe your issues are, but definitely don't neglect this. Everybody's got issues in the tissues, so you got to open up the tissues. This is going to help you get better muscle growth, better fat loss, better injury prevention, everything. Now, another great one you can do is the rear delt. Okay, so this is the muscle in the back of the shoulder as well as the teres, which is kind of like at the top of the lat where it ties, so kind of where the back armpit area ties into the shoulder, as well as the rear delt itself, so your shoulder muscles themselves. You can literally pin it down and do shoulder rotations, and it makes such a great difference. It's like incredible. You can also even roll your triceps with that. It's crazy. I think the last one I show here on the floor is just this tricep directly. Yep. So if your triceps get sore, you can actually roll over your tricep itself with the roller and then do the exact same thing you do with the quad. The tricep is kind of like the quad of the arm, except it has 3 heads instead of 4. That's why it's called a tricep instead of a quadricep. But essentially, you can bring your hand forward and behind your head, right? You're bending the elbow, stretching it through a full range of motion, okay? And now to get the traps, your neck muscles, we're going to use the ball. This is an extremely powerful exercise if you get tension headaches, if you get any kind of neck, shoulder, trap pain, all that stuff. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a ball, put it either on a corner or a post. Okay, you can do this on the corner of a wall at home, a door frame, whatever you need so your head has some room to go. Okay, and you're going to find the tight spot in your trap, and then you could take your arm through a full range of motion. Now, what the full range of motion could look like here is pulling your arm across your body. It could be bringing it in front of the post, especially if you're using a door frame or a post. It can be all kinds of different motions. There are other motions you can do with this too that help to open up the affected area. It's best to do this after doing the chest and back opener that I showed at the beginning of this video, by the way, because if your chest is tight, you're not going to get a very good release here, and you could potentially cause some length tension issues and the length tension relationship between the muscle. But essentially, I'm taking my arm through multiple range of motion, seeing what gives me the greatest stretch now that I'm pinning down the trap muscle with my lacrosse ball, okay? So again, it's not just rolling over it. Rolling over it gets some nice blood flow, which feels good, but pinning it down in its tightest spot and taking it to a full range of motion is what really makes a difference, and that's foam rolling. Now, there is one more last really effective technique I want to show you for this, which is actually using the movement of your head. So there's obviously twisting back and forth with your neck, there's nodding up and down, and there's side to side with your head. So there's always forward and back, side to side, and twisting. These are the motions you can do with any given exercise to open it, and this is a great one for the traps and neck as well to remove tension headaches and all the bad stuff that happens. Let me show you another angle. So again, you pin it into the wall, you find the tight spot, you roll into it, you find and identify the tight spot, and then you roll into it, move your head around, your neck, side to side, twisting, forward and back, all that stuff. You're gonna feel opening up the tension headaches. You can do the arm motions that I showed you in the previous clip. Extremely beneficial. So enjoy this foam rolling. Always give yourself a timer so you don't overdo the time, and let me know how it goes.